That's pretty cool. I didn't expect it to be like that. Today we're diving into a video generation tool called CogVideoX, specifically for ComfyUI. Best of all, it's free and it's a local AI solution that you can run right on your own machine. Let's check it out. Alright, first to install this, it's pretty simple. We're just going to go into the ComfyUI in the ComfyUI manager, custom nodes manager right here, and in the search bar we're going to type CogVideoX. And we're going to install this one, the ComfyUI CogVideoX wrapper. Mine is already installed, but you just hit the install button, and we're looking for the one from CogVideoX. Second part, still in the manager, we actually also need to install some models. So if you just type Google, there's two that work with it, the FP8 and the FP16. All the examples I've seen use FP8. I've downloaded both. Choose either one that you think that your computer can handle. Generally, FP16 is for higher VRAM models and FP8 is for lower VRAM, but it might be a little bit faster. Once those download, you're gonna have to restart your ComfyUI, and then we can go to the CogVideoX wrapper GitHub page. We're gonna go into this folder right here, the examples folder, and the first one we'll do is this one, the CogVideoX 5B example. If you just click this and hit the download button, and then we'll just drag that right into a clean ComfyUI, and it'll look like this. First thing to note, some things about the nodes. This is the Google model that we downloaded. I downloaded FP16 and FP8, but you know, it's automatically by default set to FP8. There will be a few of these nodes, these CogVideo model nodes, that say down in parentheses load. The cool thing about these nodes is the first time you run these, if you don't have the model installed, like this model right here, it will download it for you and put it into the right folder and then run the rest of your tree. So don't worry about these models installing them manually. It will do it for you. The prompt box is here. They have a default prompt that you can try. I'm gonna be putting in my own. All right, let's just try some random prompt. First thing that comes to mind for me. All right, here's a prompt. Let's queue this up, see what we get. All right, let's see what we got. Whoa. Actually, that's pretty cool. I didn't expect it to be like that. Like, it's not perfect for sure, but it's got way more movement than I thought it would, and that looks like a fight, you know what I mean? And that's something I haven't seen very much in any text to video gen. I probably should have prompted for weapons. It kind of looks like a wrestling match, but the action and camera movement and overall action movement is pretty impressive, actually. We'll go back to the GitHub page. So we just tried the example 01. Let's do the CogVideoX I to V example 01 right here. We'll take our image to video example and bring it into a ComfyUI. The only real difference from the text is it has this load image, which it will use as your starting point. So I'll go back into clip name, make sure my clips match, which they do, and then I'll load up an image. Let's pick a image to start with. So I'll start with this fiery image. The thing about the text to image node, it uses one of the models that has it's this I2V model that uses a very specific resolution. You have to use this resolution. If you change this model to some of the other ones, it can use different width and height. For now, for the default, we'll just use theirs. And then, so because of that, this resize image will stretch your image into this width height. And since I have a square, it'll kind of stretch it wider. So what I want to do is use a different resize image. We'll use this resize image with the wrench. And I want it to change it from stretch to fill crop instead. And also this one, I want it to be, if it's bigger, downscale if bigger. And then that way I can set my width and my height, and I'll change the prompt to match what I want to see from this image. So this will be my prompt, and let's queue this up. All right, let's check out our results. Here we go. So I really like this fire motion. It came out pretty nice. I could have used a little bit more motion on her head and arms, but her skirt is pretty cool and the flames are pretty cool. Now you might notice some of this little like a texture pattern on here. I think this is from compression. So if we reduce this CRF value to something much lower, it'll probably get rid of that. But that's how you use the image to video. And this is actually, of all the CogVideoX, the models that I could get working, this one is my favorite. So experiment with this, it's really fun. There is one more thing I want to show you with CogVideoX that's really worth looking into. And so let's go back to our GitHub page. Okay, so let's take a look at this one, the Fun Pose Example 01. Just download that and I will load it right here. A couple of things that are different about this one versus the other two. First of all, it loads up the video and then runs it through the DW Pose Estimator. If you are familiar with Pose Control Net, that's also what it does. It uses this to estimate where the hands, body, and face are and which way they're facing. There's also a different control sampler. So this is the CogVideoX Fun Control Sampler. Whenever you use the Fun Sampler, you also have to use the Fun Model. So the Fun Model is in this download node, so if you have never used it before, it will download it for you. But that's just the main difference between the control sampler, the CogX control samplers that we've seen so far. The Fun one has a little bit different inputs, but other than that, they're very similar. And what we do is we take the video upload, and it'll try to estimate the pose through here and then apply this to your render. And right now, by default, it's only set to do the first 49 frames, which is way shorter than this full clip. And what I'll do is I'll change this prompt to something a little different. So this will be our prompt. Let's cue this up. Okay, I got an error. And this is just saying that my FP8 is not labeled correctly. So I'll go in here, change it to my FP8, and then I'll cue it up again. All right, let's check out our results. All right, so here you can see what the pose estimator kind of came up with. I'll pull over the original video. So it's only going to be the first 49 frames. So it's just this beginning part of this video, which is when her hands kind of come up like this. This is what it got, and this is kind of our result. So you can see that it's trying to match the face placement, the hand placement, and the overall body placement in our render, and it did a really great job of that. My prompt called for, the prompt is actually right up here, which is cool actually. It gave me, the prompt I was asking for, matching the pose that I was kind of referencing. So great work overall. I think this is a really great use of how we can use CogVideoX. So far, I've had the best results using the image mode, which was the second one. If you want to check out CogVideoX's other works, he's got a whole bunch of other ones here. These are the three that I've had the most success using, though. One last quick tip. By default, the Cog video is kind of set to this 8 frame rate, like 8 frames per second. It makes it a little bit steppy, and I do think like just speeding it up, it'll just make it go really fast. So to smooth it out, if you want to add like a rife, what this will do is interpret frames in between. So we'll just add it right here. And we can, by default it's set to multiplier 2, which will double the amount of frames. So that means you can double your frame rate and have the same kind of basically the same look, but it'll add additional frames in between, and that will smooth out your animation. It won't be as choppy. So there you have it. CogVideoX is an incredibly versatile tool for video generation, and the best part is it's completely free and it runs locally on your own hardware. Definitely encourage you to try it out because it's a really fun and easy tool. If you found this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up and a subscribe for more content geared towards AI creatives. Let me know in the comments what you're planning to create with CogVideoX, or if you have any questions, I'd love to hear from you. I'll see you in the next video.